All right, hey y'all, welcome to another Sips and Conversations Live. I'm your host, Nancy Gua, and today I'm drinking a special Brazilian drink in honor of my special guest. Oh my goodness, Adrian Gavazzoni. I hope I have not butchered your name, girl, but I'm just so excited. I'm gonna let her on in here. Let's cheers, y'all, as we get her into the room to talk all about how she became, went from lawyer to author of not just a trilogy, but she's also actually working on her second trilogy. Okay, so welcome on in to the room, Adrian. Hey,
Hel-
Adriana,
Hello, Nancy.
how are you?
Fine, great. It's 10 p.m. in Brazil
Oh
now. Had
wow,
a busy day. How
yeah.
about you?
Look, like I'm like you've had a busy day and you still look fabulous. Me, I'm like I told you I get hot
No,
all the time.
not at all. I'm tired. It was really busy today.
So before we jump into the conversation, if you can just like tell us a little bit about who you are and what do you do, and then we'll kind of jump on in and get all the good stuff out.
My name is Adriana Gavazzoni. I'm a Brazilian lawyer and author. I was born in Brazil. I've been a lawyer for 31 years. I'm a former professor of law.
Wow.
I taught law for 10 years,
Wow.
and I split my time between being an author and a very active lawyer nowadays.
Yeah, okay, first before we dive in, I totally forgot. What's the name of this drink?
It's called batida de maracujá in
Yes,
Portuguese.
look, you say it. I there's no way I'm butchering that. But let me go slow.
Batida
Bachira
de
de
maracujá.
maracuja. Bakita de
Maracujá.
maracuja.
It's
Maracuja.
like it's something like a passion fruit shake.
Ah, okay. That's so it's like a shake. That's okay. That makes sense. So, y'all, in this drink, should I give them the recipe right now? I guess why not, right? Why not give them the
No,
recipe?
I can give the recipe, but you can also give the recipe. It seems you did it right.
Yes, yes, yeah. So it's just really, really neat. Okay, so we've got in here passion fruit,
Yes.
condensed milk, just for some sweet, right? And then passion fruit, condensed milk, and I did not use vodka in the one I did
Vodka.
today. You're supposed to use vodka, but I used rum. I put a little bit of rum in
Rum.
there.
Never tried that. I'm going to try.
Yes, it's so, so good. I think I got all the ingredients, right? It's real simple, so, so
It's
good. And
super simple, super simple.
yeah,
Everybody likes because it's sweet.
yes,
Don't put too much vodka
yeah,
because
because you'll
you're
be
going to get drunk.
very drunk.
But yeah, but
Yeah,
everybody loves.
it's absolutely delicious. So thank you so much for this drink recipe. And yeah, it's definitely a new fave of mine. So let's go ahead and hop right on in to the conversation. So you are from Brazil, as you said, and that's where you currently are now.
Yes, I'm now in Brasilia. It's Brazil's capital. It's right in the middle of Brazil. Uh,
Wow.
I'm surrounded by all other states. It's
Yeah,
really the middle.
yeah, yeah. So super, super neat. So have you always been in Brazil or have you kind of traveled around the world or um
I'm a traveler,
yeah.
but I was born in Brazil and I live in Brazil, except for times I was studying abroad in France for my master degree, um, to research for my legal book also. But I mainly live in Brazil. I love to travel. I travel abroad at least two or three times during the year. Not with the COVID for
Oh,
2 years.
yeah, yeah,
For 2 years, I
yeah.
felt like I was in jail because I just
Oh no.
love a suitcase. I love to travel, and I couldn't. So this
Yeah,
year, in September last year, I've been to France, got all my shots so I could travel.
yeah, that's
This
awesome.
year, I've been to the United States, and I hope to go to Italy and some other country till the end of the year.
Yeah, okay, so Italy's like definitely my fave, one of my faves, but and we can talk about travel all day because I love traveling as well, but I'm not as traveled as you are. But let's kind of talk about like what kind of led you to law because some of my really close friends, they know that I've shared this before, actually here on Sips, but I used to want to be a lawyer, and then like my senior year of college, I was studying for LSATs, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. This is not my dream. It's my mom's dream. Because very West African household, it's like lawyer, doctor, engineer, failure.
It's the same in Brazil. It's
So
just the same here. And maybe a priest.
yeah. So what made you actually want to do law?
I'm a voracious reader, and I remember exactly that day. It was vacation time. It was night. It was evening. Really didn't have anything to read.
Okay.
I've read everything there was in my father's shower. So there was one book I hadn't read before, and it was a legal book. So I decided to open because I needed to read something, anything.
Yeah.
and and I just fall in love with all those rules and oh my God, you can tell people how to behave, how they must do things in life. There is a
Yeah.
code for that. So I asked my dad, hey dad, what's that? What is this book? And he told me, oh, that's a legal book. Lawyers work with that. And I told him, yeah, I'm going to be a lawyer. He laughed, of course. I was too young for that.
How old were you?
But 12, I was 12.
Wow. Okay.
And
Wow.
right there, I decided I was going to be a lawyer one day.
Wow.
And I entered university when I was 16, very, very young.
Wow.
I got into college. I graduated with 21. So in Brazil, when you graduate in law, people call you doctor. It's the same like being a
Because it
doctor.
is.
They don't call
Yeah.
you attorney, they call you doctor.
Got you,
So
because you're smart as hell. You're like, yeah, you're a
but I
doctor.
was a kid, just like this.
Yeah.
And first time I went into court, I enter in this elevator, and the guy tells me, "Doctor, what's the floor you want to go?" And I did just like this. He's talking to someone behind me. I'm not a doctor here.
Oh, that's hilarious. You're like, who do you mean? That's so funny. So what's the age in which like what's the normal graduating age? Because 16 is really, really young to be graduating from high school,
Yeah,
first off.
23, 24, 25 people are graduating usually.
From
But
university or from high school?
from university,
From
from high
university.
school, around 17, 18, it depends.
Yeah.
It all depends the age you were accepted to start your life as a student. So my parents decided I should be a student. I was very young, 4 years old, and then uh, from there, I never stopped.
Yeah.
I never flunked. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I was,
especially loving to
I,
read so much, I can only imagine that definitely
yes.
helped you just kind of really just get through, high school and then get through law school and graduate at 21. So how was like your early career? Like what's like one of your first like really cool cases that you took on?
As I graduated too young, I decided to work for government.
Okay.
because I was too young to get clients. Nobody would think I was a
Including-
serious lawyer. Imagine I was just a girl. So I decided to work for the Brazilian government, and I
Okay.
was a lawyer for Ministry of Transportation in Brazil.
Okay.
So it was pretty much about bureaucratic work there. And I remember my first funny case. It was a case of sexual harassment.
Oh
One
wow.
one of my bosses had during a trip to United States, and as he was a public man, we have to prepare all the defense. And I felt so adult. I thought, oh my God, I'm so grown up now. I'm a real lawyer. I'm here
Yeah.
trying to defend this man, and it was super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I can imagine, so as your career transitioned, how long did you work for the state doing, such defense of, I don't
Well,
want to say of criminals, but of
I
alleged.
didn't, I didn't work alone because I always seize opportunities. And as I was the only one that could speak Spanish and English and French, and
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
workplace, they start to put me in some doing some contracts, some international contracts. So one of those contracts took me to Argentina, and I worked in Argentina for almost 8 years. So
Wow.
it was Argentina, and it was a project from Brazil and Argentina. So I worked in Argentina and lived in Brazil. There was a river, and I had to cross that river every day to work and to go back home.
Okay, so
Then
I'm bad with geography. Please bear with me right now, okay? So Argentina and Brazil then, I know, I mean, they're all South America, but they're that close together where it's just a bridge.
yeah, we are neighbors. We are neighbors.
Gotcha. Okay.
Uh, we are neighbors with Paraguay also.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, we have many neighbors here, and sometimes they're not even a river to cross. You just have to jump to the other side, and you just show your papers, and you are in another country. It's
Wow.
that close.
Wow.
And it was a great experience because I was again too young. I was 25 years old,
Yeah.
and in this job, they offer me to be a legal director so I could command people.
Wow.
And it was an international project. And I felt so mature and I was a
Yeah.
kid. My God. Because
Were you overwhelmed or were you feel, I mean, you said you felt mature. Was it like I feel cool mature, or is it like,
no,
oh my
no, no.
goodness?
I feel I'm an old woman now. I'm
Oh,
25. I have this great
wait, not
job. I
25.
have a driver waiting for
Okay,
me
okay,
on
yeah,
the door. I was totally nuts because, my God. But I worked that for 8 years, and it
yeah.
was time for me to go back to school. I found the necessity to go back to university to study again, to do a master,
And
uh,
what did you go back for?
to study international law. I was working with
Oh,
international
nice.
law,
Okay.
and I decided I would like to be a professor one day. So I needed to study. In
Yeah,
this study, I've been to Columbia Law Library for my research. Then I spent some time in France, 3 years after
yeah,
I was a professor.
yeah.
And I opened my own practice.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
left government behind and I decided to face the world.
Wow. How was that like opening your own practice? Because at that point you're what, maybe like in your mid 30s or so?
30, 35, I think I
Okay.
was on that
Yeah.
point. It was something scaring, but
Yeah.
because from the beginning of my career to that point, I used to have a salary. I used to earn
Yeah.
money from governments,
Yeah.
first from Brazilian government, then from Brazilian and Argentinian government. And suddenly I didn't have a salary anymore.
Yeah.
More, I was living on my savings,
Yeah.
and I was practically alone because I
Yeah.
couldn't hire any other lawyer to work with me back then. And it's to begin all again, but at the same time, it's a new challenge, and I was tired of doing all the same, no more challenges in my career because
Yeah.
I got to the top when I was 25. I was already a director. What could I be after
That
that?
right. So at that point, did you, you know, at some point in time, did you just know that your purpose was, greater than just, just, I don't want to say greater than just law, but you know what I mean? Like just greater than just doing the same everyday stuff as far as in the legal realm? Like, did you feel like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing so much more in my life?
I'm that kind of person because I'm unstoppable. So all the
Yeah,
time I think there is more, I need to do more, I need to
yeah,
live more, time is passing, and I just need to live as if it was my last day on earth. So
wow,
I'm always trying new things, I'm
yeah,
always trying to improve, and I always think I can do more for
yeah,
myself, for others. Uh, because I don't have kids, I don't have a legacy. All I have is my name, my
yeah,
career, my novels, my former students.
yeah,
Some of them work for me.
yeah, wow,
And it's amazing because I have to be remembered in some way. Are people going
yeah,
to forget me the minute I die? Uh,
wow,
that's the reason I do so much. It's not just like I want my name in history. I just want to die one day, very old, I hope,
yeah,
uh, thinking that I did all I could. I don't know if there is another life. I don't know about that. About that, I hope, but I'm not sure. But I
yeah.
know about this life,
Yeah. Oh, I love
and
that. I love the fact that you're like, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. I don't like literally, right? In life or in death. And so I'm just gonna make the most of every moment that I have and leave as much impact as you possibly can. And so you did touch on the fact that you don't have any kids. And was that how was that something that was a decision of yours? How is that something that you wish you had, or how is that for you?
no, since I was young, a kid, I used to listen to my friends. Oh, I'm going to marry. I'm going to have a bunch of
Yeah.
kids, and I was saying, no, no,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a scientist.
Yeah.
I'm going to do other things. I don't want to raise kids. I
Yeah.
don't want to be there feeding a kid, raising a kid. And I love kids,
Yeah.
but I love kids, but it's another job for your life. A kid, a
Yeah. It
kid,
is.
a kid is almost a career because
Yes.
it's tons of work.
Yeah.
When they're small, they are totally dependent on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Uh, they grow, and you are more concerned about them as they are
Yeah.
growing
Yeah.
because the world is complicated. Uh,
Yeah.
Outside there, we know it's not smooth waters.
Yeah.
Uh, so I never wanted, and I kept firm on that decision.
Yeah.
I married for with my first marriage. My husband wanted kids. I told him I'm not going to be a mother.
Yeah.
And when we divorced, he got a bunch of kids. Good for him
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was his dream, but it
Yeah.
wasn't mine.
Yeah.
And it was a tough decision because society really pushes you
Yeah.
to be like other normal people they consider.
Right,
Uh,
right.
yeah. If you're normal, you must be a mother. My mother
Yeah.
used to say to me, "Oh, you are not going to be complete if you don't have a kid." And I said, "Oh my God, really?" Because I don't feel like that. I feel complete. I,
Yes.
I, I like my life the way it is. I can't imagine a kid in it. I don't have the space. And here I am,
Yeah.
53, no
Yeah.
kids, and I have no regrets about that.
Yeah, it's 53, no kids. You have like no wrinkles, and that is why.
Maybe, maybe that's the
Yeah. I
reason.
mean,
Yeah.
because I love the fact that you said, you know what, I don't care what society deems is a woman, right? Because a lot of times it's like put on us, like, if you're a woman, you should bear children. That is what your whole life is about. And I was listening to someone once and they said, sometimes people will put, especially our parents, they put their expectations or they put these things, or society puts these like expectations on your head, or this is what you must do in order to be this kind of person. Because if you go against their norm of what they knew, because I think, to be honest, I think not everybody that even has children wanted kids, or maybe they wanted a fuller life, right? And they feel restricted as parents, and instead of saying that, it's like, no, you should have children. They're your pride and joy, but they're not everyone's pride and joy because they are a job, and it is something else. And so, if that's not part of your path or your journey, no one should dictate that to you. So I love that you stayed firm, and you're like, no, this is my purpose is not the same as yours. And so I think that's just like kudos to you for that, like hands down.
Yeah, it's tough, as I said before, because society really imposes.
Yeah,
And people say things like, "Who's going to take care of you when you are old?" As if
yeah.
I should have a kid to take care of me. Poor kid, what a responsibility.
What a responsibility for the child. Like, yes. Oh my goodness. It's just too much. Okay, so let's fast forward. You started your law firm. At some point you started hiring staff, but when did you decide to become an author? What was was your legal book your first book that you wrote?
No, since I was a kid, everything in my life happened too early. I think I'm a Capricorn. Capricorns are old since
I
they are
knew
young.
it. I knew it.
So,
Okay, sorry.
ah, big decisions, big decisions for
Yeah.
me came early in my life. And I knew I want to write because, as I said, I love to read. I'm a
Yeah.
voracious reader. And when you are a voracious reader, you think you can tell your own stories. My parents
Mm,
used to say I was small, couldn't read, and they said, "Tell me a story." And then I could tell stories for them that they didn't have told me before. So I
yeah.
was always inventing stories, telling stories to my friends, and I think I was born a storyteller. When
Yeah.
I was a teenager, I don't know exactly if it was 10, 11, or 12. I wrote a book, and I said, but I was so ashamed and so afraid my mom could read it and what she would think about it. I destroyed. But I cherished that dream, and then I wrote my legal book. It was not like being an author to write a legal book. I didn't felt like that because I was not telling stories. I was telling facts. I was telling the truth and giving to my students a source for them to research,
Yeah.
uh, a source of information that I gather through the whole world.
Now, what's
uh,
what's your legal book? What's the name of your legal book?
it's about renegotiation of international contracts when there is hardship, force majeure, and acts of
Mm.
God. So,
Okay, so like quick sidebar. Professionally, I'm in supply chain procurement, And so I know all about contracts, all about force majeure, and all about. So, I mean, that's something that really transcends across several industries. So, I mean, so from a legal perspective, I guess, what are some of the maybe one or two little tidbits, like if there's, something going on with international, hard force majeure is, I guess you can describe what a force majeure is, I guess, first off. And then, like, what are some tidbits that you put in the book?
Well, I'm going to give an example. Do you want me to explain force majeure? Okay, I can. Force majeure is
Like,
something,
briefly, yeah. I know what
force
it is.
majeure,
Yeah.
yeah, force majeure, hardship, act of God, are all unpredictable stuff that happen to your contract that you couldn't imagine. Maybe you could imagine, but couldn't predict the results while you were negotiating, while you were writing the contract, signing. Then it comes like COVID. My book was well used during COVID because
Yes.
it changed the world.
Yes.
It was totally unpredictable.
Yep.
It affects all contracts,
Yes.
even contracts in people's life, like a rental contract for your house. Suddenly, people were locked inside their homes,
Yep.
and they couldn't go out to work. They couldn't pay the rents, and
Yep.
how you're going to deal with a contract that says you have to pay monthly rental
Yep.
or something like that. So I use a lot in my book for my clients because my tips were exactly what we are going to do when you face this kind of unpredictability.
Yeah.
Try to negotiate,
Yes.
yes, in good faith you should do that, but not all parts are in good faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes, many times, or you're going to find judicial enforcement to try to change the contract you said you would obey, but in other circumstances.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
So
you said that very well. You made that so simple. I know the first time I heard about force majeure, I'm like, you mean force major? Like, you're not even speaking English. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, and then it took me quite some time to understand that. But yeah, you did a great job explaining that. And it's so important that people know and understand what their rights are when something happens that are beyond your control. You are protected, you do have rights. So I love the fact that you have a book out there on that. And so once you wrote that first book, I guess you felt like what took you to writing, you know, fictional books? I guess you started off that
or
way.
I always have that dream, but one day I was traveling with one of my lawyers. We were going to a hearing in a place in a small town in Brazil. We had to do
Okay.
a hearing that he was driving. We were chatting, and he told me, "Hey, I'm writing a novel." And say, "Oh my God, really?" And he asked me, "Why don't you write yours?" I said, I always want, but I don't know. Let's do that. I'm going to write a
Wow.
novel, and then you're going to write yours. Okay, okay, let's do that. So I started. With my spare time, I started to write. I have no idea where to
Wait,
go.
what spare time?
Yeah, from midnight to 6 a.m. I just sleep, so
Wow.
it's spare time. Uh, but I have no idea where to go. I just knew one main thing.
Okay.
I want in that novel everything that I like to find in the novels I used to read. So
Mm,
I wanted tough women,
yeah.
uh, uh, independent women.
Yeah.
I want someone who could reflect what I believe women must do. They
Yeah.
must live their life as they want.
Yes.
So I chose my professional. Her profession, I always loved psychology. And if I was not a lawyer, maybe I would be a shrink.
Yeah.
The human mind, I really
So
love the human
fascinating.
mind.
Yeah.
I'm an amateur astrologer. I forgot to tell you that I'm amateur astrologer.
Super neat. My sister would love you right now for saying that, because she's really huge into astrology and energies and all of that, because it's just so important. And the more I kind of hear her talk, I'm like, it makes sense, like to understand like the energies and
It makes
people's paths. And so she'll kind of, take my birthday, and she's like, yeah, you have X, Y, and Z in your charts, and this is why you behave this way. And I'm just like, okay. So that's pretty cool that you do that.
well. So I decided to have a shrink as a main character, and I started to write. Then I thought, well, but what kind of shrink she's going to be? And I think, she's going to treat paraphilias, strange sexual behavior. So I put some nuts as her patients, but I decided I love a good serial killer. I
Yeah.
love
Oh my God.
serial killer stories. So I
Yeah.
decided to
Yeah.
add a serial
Yeah.
killer in this
Yes.
book.
Yes.
And the serial killer was killing women, and around this ring ends by being involved, but all that the serial killer story. And she also is helping a lawyer, of course. Lawyers always need help,
Yep.
and this lawyer needs help to defend a client. This client killed his girlfriend during a sex game, so
Wow.
he needs her help. And it's a cardinal of flavor, so it's action, mystery, thriller, psychological, and erotic. And
Wow.
I have a trilogy. When I woke up, I had a trilogy.
Like you said when you
And
woke up. So how long did it take you to write and publish your first book?
six
And
months.
so were you self-published? Did you do it on your own, or did you get a contract, like a deal too?
Oh, first of all, I didn't intend to publish. I just intend to write. Just to write, to accomplish a mission, to write a novel. But then I decided to submit it for a good friend of mine. He's a
Yeah.
Brazilian ambassador, a very cultivated man, another Capricorn. So I knew he was going to be true. And
Yeah.
he was going to be tough with me. He was
Yeah.
not going to be a nice friend. So
Yeah.
he read and he started to pester me to publish. He said, "You must
Wow.
publish, you have to
Yes.
publish." I started to research publishers, and then I got my first one in the United
Wow.
States, and I was published by a regular publisher. I
Wow.
had bad lucky,
Yeah.
and the publisher went bankruptcy.
Oh,
I had
wow.
to hire a lawyer in the United States
Oh,
to get my
wow.
rights back. This
Wow.
lawyer is a wonderful lawyer. David, if you are listening to me, thank you very much. I will thank you every day for all you did to me.
Yeah.
And I got my rights back, and I was so tired and sick of publishers. And uh, I just decided to go self-publish. And then came the first
Wow.
surprise. I got my first award, and then my second, and then
Wow.
my third,
Wow.
and the
I mean,
whole
how do you even get awards? Like, I don't even know. Like, all I know how to get an award is like from like in school you have like I remember my first award was a winner's pin. And I marched up there, got my little winner's pin, but like that's school, right? Like the teacher says you are an outstanding student. How do you get like a whole because who nominates you for these awards?
my first award. I never expected to receive an award. I received a message to my Facebook. Oh, you are finalist to Golden Book Award. I said,
Wow.
how come? What? How?
Like, so you
Just
didn't
like
submit
that?
anything.
No, I didn't. And then after some time, hey, you are the winner for uh, psychological and erotic thrillers. Oh my
Wow.
God. So I discovered there were awards outside that. And I started to enroll my book. As it got its first medal without no efforts from my part,
Wow.
I decided to enroll it, just test the and see how it will develop. My first novel has four golden medals already.
Wow. Your first
Uh,
novel, I'm sorry, we got to take a moment and not like breeze through that. Like your first novel that you ever wrote, you went through like just trauma with a publisher that went bankrupt. And this book was a bet from a friend. Like, who writes so well that their first book is just an award-winning book and not even one that you were trying to win an award for? Like,
well, there is a secret. In Brazil, to practice law, it's totally different from United States.
okay,
United States and other countries, other common law countries, we are uh, Roman law countries here, like Brazil.
okay,
You have common law has more oral procedure. You go in
okay,
front of the judge, you do all that theater to defend your client.
yeah,
It's not like that in Brazil. In Brazil,
okay,
the, the only similar we have is when you go to criminal law. I work with corporate law. With corporate law, I need to write my client's story, and I need to write it well to
mm,
explain to the judges. Only then, when after I wrote the whole story, I created my client's defense, I go and I hear witnesses and I talk to judges. But before that, I have to write. And I have to write
wow,
well. So it's my profession that gave me that.
wow, wow. So following what was a desire of yours has really just turned into what's a purpose of yours. I mean, like how many people are inspired by your work simply because you opened that book up as a 12-year-old child and said, I want to do law. You know, like
Yeah.
that's really what brought you to this point. That's crazy. Wow.
But that's life. Life is just about joining up the dots, I think. Uh,
Yeah.
every step of the way, even if you don't find any meaning when you are going through a process, when you are facing some challenges, some heartbreaks, even some defeat, like
Yeah.
published my book, the publisher went bankrupt. That a defeat, but I learned a lot. And in this publisher, I've met the best persons to work. An artist who makes all my covers, and
Wow.
she keeps doing the covers for my books till nowadays. The
Yeah.
editor was great. My
Yeah.
editor is great, and I hired her after the publisher went bankruptcy. She works with me uh, for 5 years now,
Wow.
something like that, five, six
Wow.
years. So everything has a meaning.
Yeah.
Uh, everything is like a brick in the wall to build a house or a castle.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And if you join the dots and you know how to join them, you look back and you are going to see uh, everything was a lesson to prepare you for the moment you are now. And now is another step to prepare for your future. You have free will, of course, you have free will.
Yes. Yeah.
And that free will is going to pave the road for you.
Yeah. If you
So
follow it and
if you follow
if you
it,
submit to it, it's
if you accept the challenges, because
yeah.
everything has a price, a huge tag price
Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah.
There is no free dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You decide to be an independent woman. You have to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
Uh, you
What?
decided to be a housewife. You have to deal with the
Yeah.
consequences.
Yeah.
Everything is about choices
Yeah.
and how you're going to face and how you're going to accept them or say that's not for me. I'm not going this way. I'm going this way. That is going to generate a lot more consequences. Maybe if you follow a normal path.
What do you think is the biggest hindrance? Kind of saying all that, why do you think
Uh,
some people live a life that does not ever take them to their fullest potential, even if they know what that may be, right?
I try never to judge Nancy because I don't know people's background,
Yeah.
what they suffer as a child, the traumas, the dramas they have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
face, what made them like they are.
Yeah.
So our choices come from a lot from the family we had. I always say I'm the luckiest person I still have. They are
Yeah.
78, each
Wow.
still married for
Wow.
55 years. They hold hands
Wow.
to watch
Yeah.
TV together.
Yeah.
They are they are
So in
great.
love.
They were
Yeah.
great parents, loving, caring. They support me. They paid for my entire college.
Wow.
They were there supporting all my crazy ideas. Even
Yeah.
if my mom always says one day you're going to regret not having kids.
Yeah.
But for the rest, they were there. So I don't have huge traumas,
Yeah.
dramas. I was not a kid, an abused kid, as I saw many during my whole life because I'm a supporter of a shelter for abused children. And that changed someone's life. That rob kids from their dreams. Maybe you
Yeah.
choose not to follow a dream because someone you trust show you can't trust when you're a small kid.
Wow.
And it's all about that. So I can't judge. I really don't know uh, how to explain why somebody chooses this and the other one chooses that. Why somebody has the strength to pursue all his or her dreams, and someone just stays contemplating life and doing nothing because I don't know what is behind all that.
Yeah. So I think that's I mean, you answered it so eloquently though. Like that's the answer. I guess that is an answer, right? Is that there's so many factors in your life that could potentially either prevent you from realizing your greatest self or encourage you to realize your greatest self. Like both
Uh,
both can work in
agree.
the exact same
With
in the
exactly the same strength. It
yeah.
depends on what you have inside of you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like for me, my parents are yeah, that was great. Buckeye Jazz says that was brilliant. Yeah, that was great. So, my parents are so weird. I was
It's
actually born.
it's my liar.
Oh, that's your lawyer.
Hey,
Oh.
baby. That's the brilliant liar who got me my rights back.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, Adriana was just talking all about you and gave you a wonderful shout out just a few moments ago. Yes. And so, but yeah, as immigrant parents immigrants into the US, there was always a, a drive from us just because our parents came, right? Like I have two other siblings. So like they came all the way from a whole nother country to make a life for us. And so it's like, my dad at the age of 60, he started a whole new career. And so people are like sometimes like, what pushes you? I'm like, well, how do you not get pushed with parents like that?
Exactly.
I don't know how not to be. I would feel um ashamed, or I would feel like, why did they waste their time? I'd have a sense of guilt. And so yeah, I definitely think that our pasts are definitely what, allow us to create our futures one way or the other. So now that you've got your trilogy behind you, and what's the name of your trilogy, by the way?
A hidden motives. It's
Hidden
all
Motives.
about not judging.
Yes, yes, all about not judging. Yes. And then your new series, which will be a trilogy, I'm sure. What's that called, and what is it about? A little bit. Just give us a little synopsis.
Where the road goes. That's exactly what we were talking about. Uh, it's about a strong girl that was born between the two great wars in France,
Wow. Wow.
born from an American father and a French mother.
Yeah.
She has those characters inside of her, and suddenly happens the Second Great War, and she needs to face big challenges in her life. So this girl needs to go to United States with her mom that doesn't speak a word of English,
Wow.
and needs to take care of her mom. On the other hand, we have another tough woman. She lost everybody for the war, all her relatives, and she's invited to join a secret organization that chases war criminals. She
Wow.
has has a hell of a mind, and she becomes a sniper. So she
A
travels the
female
world.
sniper.
A female sniper. There were some fantastic female snipers on history. If you search during the Second World War, there was a great sniper. If I'm not mistaken, she was Russian or German. I'm not going to remember her name. She was really great. So I studied their lives to compose my characters. I talked to military men that I know to know how you must shoot, the distance for a correct shoot,
Wow.
this kind of
Yeah.
thing. And so it's about the life of these two women and how they grew up from nice kids, living a regular life, going to school, eating some great pastries in France, to people who have to go to another country or have to face criminals, to shoot
Yeah.
criminals,
Yeah.
uh, even as a way to survive. It's about survival, it's about a world in change and adapting. And main of all, I think it's about adapting to survive. The two books are about that.
Adapting to survive. And why is that so important to you? And why is telling these stories and about strong women so important to you as well?
Well, I'm a firm believer in adapting to survive. I had to adapt many times during my whole life. As I told you, from a kid that left the college, I became a lawyer in a corrupt world, like the politician world, like the
Yeah.
government. I have to survive to that, to sexual harassment because I was too young, too naive, and I had
Yeah.
those older bosses. And I'm always adapting to survive during my whole life.
Yeah.
So from working for government to have my own practice to being a professor to being in front of a class, it's one of the biggest challenges to teach
Yeah.
because you are creating a new generation. You are
Yeah.
educating minds,
Yeah.
and they are fresh, they are young, and they are going to absorb what you pass to them. So I
Yeah.
always try to pass to my students, main of all the females, the girls, that you have to be tough, you have to be independent. And I think
Yeah.
it's what I still want to transmit with my novels, that if you are independent, if you have a career, if you choose a career, if you make your own life, you can dictate what you are going to do next
Yes.
in life.
Yep. Yep.
If you pay your bills, nobody is going to tell what you are going to eat.
Yeah.
You are going
Yep.
to say, I want to eat, I don't want to eat
Yeah.
today, because you can command your life.
Yeah.
I'll also try to show, to call the attention for abused children. It's a very dear subject to me because I was a great supporter of a shelter in Paraguay, this neighbor country,
Okay.
for
Yeah.
abused children,
Yeah.
and I could see how the abuse in all kind of forms, sexual, verbal,
Jeez.
physical, changed the life of
Yeah.
a kid that could reach all the dreams,
Yeah.
can have his life described about all that.
Yeah. Before it
Uh,
even begins. And to me, that's the worst part,
that's
right?
that's the
It's
worst.
they don't even have a chance at life. So I feel that passion with you. I worked pretty closely with my son's school before, and great school, amazing faculty, amazing staff, and we did have some challenged children because they were just in really rough situations. And um, just to when those kids are nurtured and they have love and they know that someone cares, it literally will change the trajectory of their lives. And so I love that that's a passion that you and I kind of share um, together.
We have many passions we share, I think, a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah. Strong women,
and
great
and
kids.
main of all, this kids need to rebuild trust.
Yeah,
Usually they were abused by people they trust.
yep, yep. It's
And
always a
that's
family
one of the
member,
things I try
teacher.
to show.
Yep,
What your kids, maybe it's happening in your house.
in your house. Yep, yep.
And usually it is
Yeah,
inside the kids' home.
yeah,
It's hard. In my first novel, I had to write about that. My trilogy
yeah,
talks about that because I have to put on the paper what I saw whenever I went to this shelter, or whenever I saw the misery of those
yeah,
kids.
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I love that you're just kind of pouring out your life and you're taking all of your life journey and you're literally leaving a legacy, right? That's just going to live on just forever and you're teaching continuously. I think that's just beyond incredible. So what's next for you? I mean, you've done so much already. I can't even imagine. I don't
I still
know.
have dreams. I still have dreams. I would like to convert one of my books into a series,
Wow.
or maybe a movie. It's
Yeah.
one of
We'll
my
see you on
dreams.
Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see on Netflix, HBO. I
Yeah.
have no bias at all. Uh, Maybe live abroad for some time in a colder country. I love the cold. Brazil is a little bit too hot for my taste. Maybe sometime in France,
Yeah.
just learning about wine that I
Yeah.
love,
Yeah.
or sometime in the United States, pursuing my dream of converting my novels into movies.
Yeah.
But I really don't know when I'm going to have the time. Uh, I have my clients, I have a commitment to them, I'm very
Yeah.
loyal. I have
Yeah.
long time clients, like 20 years, they are my
Wow.
clients. And
Wow.
I don't know how I'm going to leave them.
Yeah.
I don't trust other lawyers that
Yeah.
much. I'm trying to prepare a new generation of good lawyers. I
Yeah.
think they are going to be ready to replace me one day, but not
Wow.
yet. For now, they
Yeah.
need guidance.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh, uh, many dreams to have a shelter for abandoned dogs. Also, I love animals. I'm crazy about animals.
Do you have
So
some?
I
What?
have two. I
Two
have
dogs.
two little girls. They are poodles, and they
Aw.
are amazing. One is 11, and the other is 3. So I have an old lady and I have a baby. So
Perfect combination.
perfect.
Well, I know I look forward to everything, and just considering how um, just robust your life has really been thus far, and everything that it seems you even think it happens. So I know that we'll be seeing, your name, one of your movies, I mean, one of your books turned into a series, or even a movie. Who knows what that's going to look like? But from what you've said and from how you've lived your life and the fact that you're living in purpose, I can only imagine how great things are going to be. So as we wrap up here, I mean, you said some really incredible things. I've gained a lot of great wisdom. So what's one thing that you would like to just share, out of any lesson you've ever learned or any lesson you could ever teach? What is the one thing that probably you would like to leave us with today?
It may be sound cliche, but I believe in never giving up.
Yeah,
If you have a dream, you can't give up,
yeah,
or you are not going to have a great life because you're always going to be thinking, "Oh, I should have done that and I
yeah,
didn't." So never quit, never abandon your dreams. Just
yeah,
just fight for them. It's a fight.
yeah,
It's not easy and
yeah,
it's not lucky. It doesn't
yeah,
have anything related or is lucky, but it have all related to work, hard work, and never giving up.
work hard and don't abandon your dreams. I love that. So thank you so much. And you've just been even greater than I even thought, So it's just been such a pleasure. You've got such a beautiful spirit and you are just such an influential woman. And like I said, I just look forward to continue to watch your journey. I'm definitely going to get your books because I love a good serial killer as well. So,
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Nancy. It
y-
was very
yeah.
important to me to be here tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And get some rest. I know it's late. It's like 11 o'clock there now.
It's
So,
like 11 o'clock.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
super late. So thank you so much for staying up for me. And thank you all for tuning in and for joining us. And until next time, cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.